Cause remember, even though the times may change, I won't corrupt, said it, nigga. And I'm calling out names. All y'all.
Yo, it's your boy Glenn Lawrence, and I'm back with another one. And in this one, we're going to continue ripping off of that Ricky Red Pill, that self-proclaimed president of the manosphere. Yeah, it's time to expose this guy. I'm about to expose him. So in this first clip, it's of him on Saucecast, all right? And then don't worry, I'm going to be moving on to what he said in the BBC podcast. I might even do that one live. But in this clip, they're gonna be talking about toxic masculinity, toxic femininity, and I want you to see how many times his answer changes, and then how many times he tries to convince them that he wasn't flip-flopping on his answer. All right, and then I'm gonna give you a reenactment of really what went down, my interpretation of everything, and then I'm gonna tell you what I really think about Ricky Red Pill. All right, so let's get into it.
Do you believe in this concept of toxic masculinity?
I think both sides are very toxic. I just call it being toxic.
Okay, just being toxic.
You're toxic or you're not.
Toxic femininity, right?
Yeah, there's a lot of both.
Yeah. So I firmly agree. Like, you can't just label a gender or a race or religion as something. It's individual.
Well, everything he says about men and women, I'm thinking the exact same thing for the opposite gender. When you say men are this way or men do this, I'm thinking, well, so do women.
No,
when
it's not the
women
same.
Are like this, I'm like,
they're so different.
Do men.
They're polar opposites. We call it Ricorian polar. The opposites that are between men and women are many. It's too much. It's a lot. We're not the same. Men and women are not the same.
Oh, for sure,
We're
different.
totally
Absolutely.
different and meant to fit together as puzzle
Biologically,
pieces. That's
mentally,
whatever alien, God, call it whatever you want. God created us, created men and women like that. We fit together. Go ahead.
No, I just want to get your opinion on this.
It's just so much. I want to get out to that. I'm sorry.
I love the story now.
Group hug after.
The part of the problem is I have is when anytime you want to use labels for groups. What Kanye's doing with Jews, or what certain people did with Asians during COVID, or what people are doing with men, toxic masculinity. So I saw this story and I was like, I gotta bring it up about toxic femininity. Here's the story right here. So the story is there's this dude in Texas and he's dating this woman for 1 month. 1 month. And she FaceTimes him to check in on him, and another woman answers the phone.
Yay.
Answers the FaceTime, okay? So what do you think this woman did? Did she, break up with him on the spot? Did she text him that, we're done? Did she show up at his job and, confront him? Did she key his car? No. She went full left-eyed Lisa Lopez on him and burnt
His house
homie's house down.
Wow.
Okay?
Wow.
So now it turns out that the person that answered his phone was his aunt. That was like, hello.
God.
So now, buddy, so he's checking his phone, and the text he gets from his girlfriend is, hope your house is okay. He's like, what are you talking about? Long story short, now buddy's doing a GoFundMe to raise money for his house, to fix his house. He is full on
So
homeless.
sad.
So my question to you is this an example of toxic femininity, or is she just a crazy bitch?
I think that's toxic person, period. Like, if anybody is going to commit arson, they're crazy, and they should not be dating until they're fucking healing themselves. Yeah, they have. She has clearly childhood trauma. I would say that's abandonment issues, like a lot of things, and she got triggered, and in a fit of being triggered, acted absolutely psycho, and I think she should have full responsibility for how she acted. Maybe her feelings were valid of being upset, but her actions are not, and I think that a lot of people try to say, like, well, my feelings, and justify their actions on both parties. That bitch is crazy.
And my answer to that is they're both right, and I'll just add to that it's movies and music that made her feel, and other women giving her advice throughout her life as to how to deal with men is what caused that.
Yeah, I absolutely believe
Women
that
give women horrible
can
advice
be
when it
super
comes to
toxic.
conducting their life.
I see women go absolutely crazy about men, blowing their phones up, like psycho
Because it's
shit,
emotional decision making.
because
It's toxic
they're emotional.
femininity.
Yeah,
She's right.
they're so in love, or they like them, and they're like, you just
And
let
they
me
feel like
threaten my sense of
there's
security.
no. Okay, when she burned his house down, is she in prison right now? You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, she is.
There's no laws
Arson.
against because she did the physical act.
Yeah.
But the female crime, I'm telling you.
But here's my question, Ricky. You said you just called it toxic femininity, right?
It is. It's facts.
So, but that's my problem. Isn't she just a crazy woman?
Nope.
Why does it have to be
Most women's
toxic
crazy, man.
femininity?
You ever been with
Just like
one?
if some
They're all
dude
crazy.
is a piece of shit, abusive scumbag, is that toxic masculinity?
No.
Or is just he a piece of shit?
So you're saying why generalize
Why
it?
are we
as opposed
using
to talk
toxic
about the
men,
individual?
toxic women?
Why you wait, Adam?
That's what I'm trying to get at right here.
Okay.
All these labels, these groups,
got that,
individuals is who we need to hold accountable.
Yes. Yeah.
This goes
Yeah.
back to my Kanye thing.
Well-
It's like the Jews, the gays, right? The blacks,
No,
the
but-
this. It's like, no, it was these certain people that screwed you
We
over.
would be wrong to say that, though. So what the question you're asking, no, we would be wrong. Because what did they label toxic masculinity? They labeled traditional masculinity as toxic. What are they labeling toxic femininity? Traditional femininity as toxic. So
I would say both of those come from
traditional
like a
femininity is not
therapy
toxic. It needs to be
standpoint,
controlled, just like
yeah.
masculinity. Toxic masculinity, okay, traditional masculinity, say caveman masculinity. I go around, I grape every hot chick I see, and there's no police around. No, honestly.
Yeah.
I am listening.
I promise you. I can't, when you do that, when you don't have laws in place to monitor and keep people in order. Okay. Chaos and order. Men represent order. Women control most of the world right now. Facts, okay? That's why we have so much chaos and disorder. When we have an equal distribution of both, It's just like the balance of love. Love is the equal distribution of that thing. And we can get into that in a minute, whatever. But basically, you have to have order or you're going to have chaos. We have that chaos because of that. When you go out and commit these crimes, and I'm telling you, we've done the math on it. There's algorithms and everything. It's not simple. It's very deep. I've had other analytics and statistics companies before. This is not new to us. We know what we're doing, and I'm telling you.
Can you answer Adam's question though?
Which is what?
Which is why is what she did toxic femininity and versus a man?
It's not. That's what I'm telling you.
But you
It's
said
not.
it was. You really just
What
said
she
it was.
did is traditional. Listen to me clearly. Let me be clear. Maybe I'm not being clear. What she did by doing that is traditional femininity.
What does that mean, though?
Yeah,
Rich?
what
She's
does that
just
mean?
being a hurt woman whose feelings is hurt.
But-
She's a hurt girl.
I guess so. Here's my question then. So answer this: why are we using
And
these
she's
group labels? What Lex Friedman said to Kanye when he was on the podcast with him is like,
Oh,
you
no.
can't just put large swaths of people together and blame groups of people. This
Yes,
was
you
one
can.
crazy bitch. What do you mean?
They all do, bro.
No, not all women.
You can't put
Burn
all women.
houses down.
You
No,
can
no,
put- you can put all
You
women-
gotta dice into one woman.
Listen, it's never all. That's where
Yeah.
people make the mistake. It's
Okay.
never all.
Right.
Listen, guys, honestly,
So-
regardless of whatever you feel like here right now, feelings aside, you cannot put all women or all men in any group, okay? Here's what you do. You
Got it.
take what is factually, that's why I
Yeah.
keep talking about facts, the numbers, okay? If 80% of men would do a murder, if murder was not illegal, then you say most men are killers. Correct. Yes. That is what we're dealing with. See, you can't even get that. It's
Yeah, because that don't make no sense.
So you're talking about societal norms, and you're talking about
I'm
laws?
talking about the nature. We're going, our laws and all this crap we're on these freaking podcasts and everything talking about, they're go against our human nature. We are biological creatures who are socially programmed. We have that adaptation. We are biological creatures. You're a biological creature. We're all that.
Right?
Okay?
Right?
You can be socially programmed through music, people you talk to, your mother, your father.
Okay.
Think about everybody like that, because that's the truth.
Okay.
That's the fact. That's why I speak on facts, because you guys get fucking confused. For real. This is the fact. Nobody can dispute what I'm saying. This is it.
So we're saying we should
That is what you're
generalize?
You have to generalize. Do you want to save most of the people or just a few of the people?
So
It's not about what you feel if you want to say most
feelings
or
mean nothing to me.
so-
I care not about feelings.
to be clear,
Yeah.
is there such thing as toxic masculinity? Yes or no?
Yes or no? You literally just said no,
No.
to women.
There's
There
no.
isn't.
Okay,
There's
so
no
now
let's make it a person.
there's no
Okay,
such thing as
let's
toxic
move on.
femininity. Listen, guys, there's no
What
such thing as either one.
Wait, I thought
You just said that there
but
was,
you just said
Ricky.
there
No,
was.
no.
Just letting you know.
Okay, listen.
Yeah.
Under the right context. That's why I told you Kevin Samuels was wrong, right? I sit up here, a guy I idolize, just like Rollo and
Yeah.
others, okay? Coach Greg Adams, I love that guy. He's dope,
Coach,
okay? In the marriage and divorce area, right, of Red Pill. He's a master of that. What I'm telling you is, under the right laws, it's the laws. Do you not understand that order is conducted through
Jamie,
laws?
I'll be right back.
I gotta do the same thing. Under laws.
Yes.
Our laws are the problem. Our government has failed us. And that's why after controlling Red Pill, bringing order to Red Pill, we need to make sure that we go into lawmaking. And like I say,
Okay.
me and Andrew Tate's a lead are different. He has, right now at this point,
What was that?
A little dust feather.
it's fine. And right now at this point, Andrew, he's went through a lot. He was under attack, right?
Yeah.
Andrew was under attack because, whatever. Never mind the reasons. Andrew was under attack, and he feels threatened because of that. They attacked him. They did damage to his income and other things. With me, my elite, it doesn't feel like that to me. He feels like he might lose his life even soon. I mean, he's just recently become Muslim and everything else. I don't feel like that. I feel like Tom Brady supports me. I feel like Bill Gates supports me. I feel like
But
Elon
you said
Musk.
you don't do it how you feel.
Huh?
You said you don't do the feel. Like
No, I do the feel personally in my personal life, not when I'm giving advice to public.
But aren't you giving it
Right.
You guys have to admit that like Sauce has an amazing chipmunk voice, right? And wow, that was bad. But at least you got to watch it in 1.5 speed and not the original. So check out my reenactment of it. And I have one more thing at the end for you guys. Just watch. All right. So Adam's telling this story, right, about this chick who was only dating this dude for a month. And because she thought that he was cheating on her, she burnt his house down. And then Adam's like, yo, is this an example of toxic femininity? And right away you can hear, Ricky go, yeah. And then the girls start answering. And, they're talking about, yeah, this person's just toxic, period, blah, blah, blah. She shouldn't date until she heals herself from her damage. And then the other chick's like, I think this has to deal with like abandonment issues and separation. I don't know, some shit like that, right? All right, so then Ricky jumps back in, right? Because he wanted to add a little bit more to the conversation because all he said was, yeah, right away. And then he's like, look, you know what? I co-sign everything these girls say. But let me tell you something else. You know what? It is the music and the movies they watch. Also, is that these bitches give each other bad advice. They don't give each other good advice. Then the other girl jumps back in And then she starts talking about how it's like, emotional something problems. And she's saying some stuff. And then Ricky jumps back in to like, kind of just have the last word, I guess. And he's like, yeah, you know what? It's also toxic femininity too. Yep. Toxic femininity. I said it. I have all the data. Facts. All day. So then the redheaded thinner girl jumps back in. She says a few things. And then Ricky's trying to follow up because he thinks he's on a roll right now. He thinks he got something going. He's like, yeah, like, I mean, is she even in prison right now? Like, questioning the fact that whether or not she actually got arrested for arson. And Sasha's like, yeah, bro. Like, thinking, like, why wouldn't she not be? It's a fucking crime. Once Ricky heard that, like, she is in prison, like, his whole train of thought just crashed. He derailed his train because he was going on the fact that, like, women don't get charged for physical crimes. Men get in trouble for physical crimes. Women do emotional crimes. Some weird shit. Anyways, he was like, oh shit, what the fuck do I gotta do now? You know why? Let me tell you why. Because she committed a physical crime. But you know what? The real question is, like, she ain't getting charged for the emotional crime here. See what I'm saying? So at this point, like, Sauce is not even fazed about the whole weird criminal crimes, men committing physical crimes, women committing emotional crimes shit. He's going back to the question that he asked originally, because he originally asked, like, do you guys believe in like toxic masculinity or toxic femininity as a group? And, what Ricky said after the girls kind of said all this is like, he agrees, like, yeah, I think there's, both toxic, either you're toxic or not putting to a specific gender. He's saying like people could be toxic, right? But like, there's no toxic masculinity or femininity. Like, it's on an individual basis. You're either a toxic person or you're not. So Sauce gave him some pushback. He's like, look, man, but this is why I have a problem with you, man. Because you just said that, like, this girl is toxic. She has toxic femininity. But you just labeled her. So why can't you just be a crazy person? Like, she's toxic. And then Ricky pushes back. Is like, come on, man. All bitches are crazy. Have you even been with a woman? Nah, man. So then Adam tries to point out, like, well, wait a minute. If the dude is a piece of shit, abusive scumbag, isn't that toxic masculinity? And Ricky's like, no. So, sometimes you got to, like, digest things, let things kind of settle, think about them, mull them over. Well, you're about to get a meal here. Your waiter will be right with you. Excuse me, who ordered the rant of bullshit? Was it you? What is it made of? Oh, it is bullshit mixed with a little bit of caveman rapage and a little bit of stealing Jordan Peterson's chaos and order theory, and topped with a little bit of statistics and more bullshit. Enjoy. So he tries to end his rant of bullshit, giving people some assurance. Like, hey, look, I got this. We've been down this road before. We know these statistics and numbers. We're the best at it. My team, we're good. Hoping that nobody would realize that he never answered the question to begin with in his bullshit rant. Natalia, being smart as she is, she's just like, hey, dude, can you just answer the fucking question? Can you just, really? No, she didn't say it like that. But she was thinking that. She was definitely thinking that. So I don't even think he remembers what his original answer was. Because now he's trying to flip-flop and act like he's been saying this shit the whole time. And Natalia's like, dude, you just said this. And he's like, no, I didn't. This is traditional femininity. Burning down houses, that's what normal bitches do. Come on, guys. So Adam now trying to gain some type of order going on in there, because apparently everybody's just confused as shit because Ricky's just off the wall. And so he's like, okay, going back to the Kanye thing, this is what dude said to Kanye, saying that you can't just group people together like this and say they're all this or they're all that. And, Ricky returns back with, yes, you can. And now everybody's confused. So he tries to, like, say that you can group all people together, because he's about to say something about grouping all women together because all women must behave a certain way. But he stops himself and then flips his script again and changes his answer one more time and says, like, look, you guys, listen, regardless how you guys feel, okay? Because you're all in your feelings, basically, because I'm saying you guys must be feeling something. And regardless how you guys feel, okay, I don't speak feelings, I speak facts, all right? And then he proceeds to try to say, like, okay, statistically, you take the data, and then, you take what we know, the facts that we know, the empirical facts, and then you quantify those, and then you take, okay, if 80% of men are killers, then you can say the majority of men are going to kill. Okay, like, as if he was now changing everything. once again. Yeah. So now Adam's just like confused as fuck and is just tired of this whole line of questions. He wants to move on to the next segment. So he goes like, look, man, is there such thing as a toxic masculinity or not? And Ricky's like caught off because he doesn't know how to answer this question. See, he's used to doing filibusters. So he doesn't like yes or no answers. So he's like, how do I answer this? What is the answer? What does the Recorian say? Let me check my Recorian app. Shit, I forgot. The app's broken. It doesn't work. And, you know, it wasn't until like Natalie started talking that he's like, you know what? There's no such thing. No such thing as toxic masculinity. Yeah, I said it. You know what? Better yet, there's no such thing as toxic femininity either. Like, come on, guys. Come on. Natalia's like, where are your fucking facts, dude? Like, where are the fucking facts? And now he's just reaching for something to grab on. He's like, what did I say? What can I use? Oh, yes. Remember when I said that thing about, Kevin Samuels? Like him about the high value man thing not being accurate, just like depending on the context that it's in? That's what I'm talking about. Depending on the context and the laws. See, you know what had happened? Let me tell you what had happened was, our laws done fucked this all up. See, our laws failed us. Like, so it's because of the laws that we have to have this context thing in place that, defines all this shit. But you know what I'm going to do? Listen, when I am in control of the red pill, let's call it the Ricky Red Pill, I'm going to put people in office. Like, I'm going to have elected officials go in there and then change the laws because I'm all about doing all that shit too. You know what I'm saying? That's my plan. So, tell me guys, how do you think I did? Did I do a good job? Leave a comment in the chat and tell me what you think. But you guys catch how many times he kept on flipping and flopping? Like his shit did not make sense. Like nothing made sense. And this guy claims to be the president of the Red Pill, right? Wow. If that's the case, like you ain't got to kick anybody out. People are going to be running out, just getting away from that bullshit. Because if you can't even say what you mean when you mean it and how you mean it, then how can you communicate anything else? Like this guy is just, And to me, it's like there's an integrity issue because like, you're flipping and flopping the way that he was. And instead of being like, you know what, let me think about it for a minute. And then let me give an answer. I need to think about everything before I respond. And then he could have waited and listened to everybody. And if he wanted to jump on the bandwagon and co-sign everything that they were saying, he could have done that and be like, you know what? Yeah, I agree with you guys. And we'll make fun of him. But at the same time, like, at least he wouldn't be so deceptive in trying to like deceive people on how he was just changing everything and try to play it off like he wasn't, and like, give it to Natalia. She's a trooper. Like that girl's getting so frustrated with him. Like, I'm telling you right now, she probably wanted to punch him in his dick. No, she probably didn't want to touch his dick. She wanted to punch him in his throat. I guarantee that. So, all right, guys. So if you want to watch me do the live breakdown of the BBC podcast, that was the last podcast that he was on that I know of, where he was talking about Rollo and showing all his Recorian things. If you want me to break that one down live, leave a comment in the chat. All right. Also, I'm going to extend an invitation right now to the homeboys that were at BBC. If they want to come on and talk about it, or Ricky Red Pill, if you want to come on, clear the air, try to, convince me. Here's your opportunity. So it won't be till later on today. Okay, we are in the West Coast over here. So hit me up, leave a comment, hit the like button. Let me know if you guys want to see it breaking down. And Ricky, I doubt that you would respond. And I highly doubt that you would want to come on. But the invitation's there. So we'll see. Until then, peace.
This production was produced and edited by Glenn Lawrence Presents. It is 100% copyrighted and owned by Glenn Lawrence Presents Media Publications. For further information, reach out to Glenn Lawrence at Glenn Lawrence Presents on YouTube, Instagram, and all other social platforms for inquiries on work.